Crank 'em up.
That's it, folks. It's episode 75 of Chasin Tails. We got a good episode tonight coming off the HRL Gala. We planned on having Kyle here to kind of recap everything because he was up there, but he had to bail, had some work stuff to handle. Bobby will be on here in a little bit, putting the kids down. That's why we always say 8-ish, because it never seems to start at 8. I think that's just become our thing, huh, Austin?
Yeah, we actually made it a mission at one point, just to spite a few fans, few special
100%.
fans.
100%, and it's never on a perfect time. Although right now it's 8:05, so I guess we hit it on a 5-minute mark.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then we'll ask Bobby, hey, how long are you going to be? I'll be there in 3 minutes. So yeah, obviously the news coming out of the HRL Gala, the meetings, all that stuff, good stuff. The Gala is always exciting. It's a fun one to go to for sure. A lot of fun things, even poked fun at Chasin Tails. So we have Dominic Roy on tonight. We're going to bring him on here in a minute and just discuss kind of everything that goes in the production of this gala. I know they start early after the race season to get it going. And it's a lot of work. I think I bet they might put more work into that gala than they do into the racing. What do you think?
It's very possible. I mean, that it's an entire spectacle. That's for sure. Between the red carpet and some of the people that show up, you get quite the show.
Yeah, quite the show. And there's a reason why it's not live streamed anymore. You know, people be getting a little too tuned up. Can't have it live. One day they'll let Chasin Tails go live because at least that wouldn't be a HRL page.
Yeah.
But anyway, without further ado, we'll bring Dominic on and let's talk about what's going on up there. I can hit the button.
Figure it out one day. And see, that's why we like the AccuClocks.
That's
you don't really need.
I keep hitting show and it's not hitting show. It's just not working.
You just did this 2 minutes ago too.
I know. I just hit him. We having real technical difficulties for again. See if your button works.
I hit show. That also didn't work.
Man. All right, so we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. I know Dominic can hear us backstage, so I'm going to remove you. Maybe pop back in. That'll probably bring it back in. I'm sorry about these technical glitches. Nothing's ever perfect when we're live. That's what makes it fun. Yep, we're ready for when Bob shows up. Don't worry.
We're prepared. I'm volume adjusting too. I just realized how loud that was. It was not that loud when I hit preview and did it through my own headphones. I just played it really loud though.
So it is crazy up there that they can fit everything they do in with one day. I mean, the meetings are really quick.
Especially with the elevator.
Yep. Yeah, the elevator. I think that's got to be the highlight of the weekend. Old Jimmy Stewart breaking the elevator.
Yeah. And it seems to be a yearly occurrence too.
Oh, yeah. It was like early 2000s when I got stuck in that thing. It's not cool. Something's wrong with that place.
They actually had to go up the ladder this time, out the top. That's
sketch.
I feel like that's probably one of my top fears is like getting stuck and like crushed in an elevator shaft.
Yep. You've seen too many shows, man. That 911 show that was on Fox for a bit. Final Destination. Yep. Man, that'd be crazy.
I'm good.
Let's see. Dom's getting his laptop. I guess his phone must have hit a memory issue, but that's cool. We got it for now. What else we hear coming out of there? I know we'll get into the hot topics later. Have a nice interview, and we'll go into all the meeting stuff later if we get time for that. But
I don't know. There was obviously we have the big the new class name for the 2.5 liter stock class, or the lower class for Formula Rookie. How do you feel about that?
It's one of them deals. I get what they're trying to do. I saw Bob made a comment and said, like, it's hard to put somebody as a rookie that's not a rookie, but now you're calling him a rookie. I get that. Like, it's like having to run the X on your boat longer than you really should after that year's up. It's a really big thing. So, but I mean, they usually have a set people that kind of set these things up, and maybe they did some fan engagement, tried to ask them. I don't know. I would have used the word light or something, and then pro.
I kind of
Probably
like how we
just some
do
verbiage.
sportsman entry versus sportsman advanced.
Advance.
And
Yep.
like even that,
Yeah.
you have the connotation of it being
Yeah.
entry, beginner, rookie, but at the end of the day, it's a name. That class is meant to be kind of the intro beginner class for the actual full size hydros, and
I do like their intent to slow the Hondas down for that class if the age goes down. I think we need to figure out a way to bridge that gap. I think it's 15 now for a 2.5 stock. If we could come down to 13, 14, I think kids could do it. I just saw at the Chili Bowl, kid started 6th and he's 14. That's like a national mod motor in those cars.
that's
Running,
wild.
just ripping. I mean, out there with Larson and Christopher Bell, like 14 years old. I was like,
how
I don't know if I could have done that.
Can they run up in the novices until
13, I
13?
think. So there's that
2-year gap.
Yeah,
that's kind of killer, especially at that age. I think we've talked about it before. Like you look at, I don't know, like me and Kyle when we were growing up, around even being around the sport, we're around soccer more and around our friends and stuff in high school. That age is kind of crucial. If you don't grab the attention of these kids, it's
if they don't have a family member already doing it. Like, I mean, obviously Theo started go-karts at 5. Now Lincoln's going to start here in March, and it's like if they get into it, they might not jump in a boat. I mean, Theo's still he's full boat. He's like, "You building my J stock yet?" I'm like, "Not yet. Calm down, dude. Got a few more years." But yeah, it's something. And I've talked to a couple people, Bob Abbott being one of them. Like, could we lower the J stock? But you got that open water thing, and like every kid's different. Like maybe my kids have a little bit more of that motorized thing in them, but some other kids that you could throw them in there and they'll be clear across the damn river by the time you catch them. Like that is a problem, but
for sure. And it definitely, I can see just from the one or I guess 2 outports I've ever driven to a hydro, your vision and everything is
totally different.
A lot more confined, and I don't know, like I've always picked up courses pretty easy, but it's shit. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Losing the course is not as hard as one would think. It's
yeah, that's only one place though. We ain't going back, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Steve said he thinks the novice age limit is now 16 up there at least. So that's cool. I mean, it's just bridging that gap.
That's the thing I think we kind of get away from is the 2 organizations or whatever amount of organizations don't always need to do the same thing. In APBA, they have that option of staying in the outboards longer, or they can go into a T-boat sooner. It has the options, but with HRL not really having those options, having that age limit being raised or the 2.5 being lowered, which I don't really think is a good option. But
yeah, I think if you made it like T-boat speed, 14, 13 is fine.
Yeah,
but
and what seems like what they're kind of doing with bringing the Honda down, and I mean, if you're not a team that's been running a Ford for years and years and know all the tricks, it ain't gonna be running our speed or John Shaw speed or any speed like that.
Exactly. So it's already naturally a little
lower. Limited, especially with the parts you can get for it.
So Eddie's saying that they had some other options like Formula Rise, Formula Advance. That was the original pitch, but they had to get approval from several different groups. Formula Pro was another idea. See, I like that idea, the lights and the Pro, like, because that's kind of the way it is. But again, at the end of the day, does the name really matter? Probably not. Like, it's boats. You just needed it really needed something to differentiate them. And I think what they're doing, it will a little bit. And I know HRL tries to mix them up to where they're not back to back when you're just watching 4 heats of 2.5s. So that's another key too. And it's, again, we've talked about it a million times. It comes down to an announcer. Like, you have a good announcer, lets everyone know. You do good on social media, everyone understands it. Like, it's you could call it whatever you want, and as long as you do a good
If you
job
put John
promoting it.
Tomey on the mic, everyone's going to
Yep.
know what's going on.
They might not understand him half the time when he gets all excited, but
Loses his
all right,
voice.
we got Dominic back here. Let's see if we got him live. All right, we got you now. There we
Working?
go.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect.
Sorry, guys. My fault. It's
All
my
good.
bad.
That's fine. We're used to technical difficulties. There's so many times we start these episodes and we look and we're like, we're not live on Facebook. How do we fix that? Or we start all over. And there's people on YouTube that are like, we've been watching y'all go live. Stop. Live. Stop. It's all part of it.
Yeah,
Part of
so
doing
apparently
it live.
not enough space on my phone. Sorry.
Jeez. Too many videos from this weekend, obviously.
Probably.
Yeah. So it's a good thing we were talking a little bit about the elevator deal. It's a good thing you weren't stuck on that elevator, huh?
Yeah, some people were stuck on this elevator. And I heard that it was the second time that it happened. It used to happen a couple of years ago with Martin Rochon. And fun fact, he didn't remember at all what happened a few years ago.
Wonder
But
how.
apparently, Martin did the same thing than Jimmy Stewart's. So he kind of jumped like in the elevator and then made it stopped. And unfortunately, a few people were trapped in it for like,
Ooh.
I think it was for 45 minutes. So when I pulled up in the parking lot, the firefighters were there to fix that. So I knew already that the night would be special.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Exactly. Last year we ended it with it. I know the fire trucks came like after the gala. If they had something going on in the kitchen or something. It was like, there's always something happening up there outside of our spectacle we put on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cold night here in Valleyfield, guys, tonight. Minus 22. That's a bummer. Really cold.
Yeah, that's too cold. You keep that up there.
Yeah.
I've heard there's a lot of snow coming east here, so we're gonna bunker down. That's all we can do. Got good heat in the house. That's what we need.
Mm-hmm. So how have you been, guys?
Pretty good. Just in that lull period of the winter where you never know whether you dislike boat racing or you're ready to go again. I feel like there's always this period where you're like, oh, I'm tired of this. Like, maybe we should retire. Nope, we're going again.
Cool. Phew. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun night. It's always a fun night. Right now I'm feeling very, very, very stoked about
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Good. So yeah, we feel pretty good about what we pull off this weekend. At the same time, I'm always feeling like a sense of relief when it comes to an end, because it's, believe it or not, I did so many shows on stage during my musical career, and I hosted a lot of stuff in many venues, and this gala is always, year after year, super nerve-wracking for me. I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel very nervous, like probably a couple of days before. And on Friday, we always do like the big rehearsal. So we do the whole gala from the beginning to the end to make sure that there's no technical difficulties during the big nights. Yeah, so sense of relief, very, very, very stoked about what we've accomplished, because, you know, there's a few things that we always challenge ourselves. First thing first, year after year, this place is always packed, so we make sure that ticket sales are going well. Second things, we want to make sure that we don't have any technical difficulties. It could happen, but you know, it's never perfect, but at least that we have a good flow. And third basic thing is to entertain people properly, to make sure that they have fun and they have good memories, and that we honor all the awards winners to the best of our capacities. That's like the three main thing that we always keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys nail it. I've been to plenty of different banquets and stuff over the years, and it's always entertaining. It's a spectacle. And I would think that even tops probably NASCAR, things like that at another elite level, because it's just that you feel like you're going to a show. You and Steve up there work perfect together. That's been really cool to see that get better and better every year. But just the work. Talk to us about like leading up to it. I know JP does a lot with the videos, but how
Yeah.
much work and when does it start to prepare for the gala?
Well, you were right. Earlier, we kind of officially start directly after Bois or after the end of the season. But sometimes we keep in mind some things and some ideas that we want to, pull off during the season. So we gather some information during the season, write it down, let it rest, came back after. But yeah, we have we start with some debriefing on September usually, and we have probably one or two meetings a month until December. Then we go to the holidays, and we go back in January, and we have the official reading of all the texts. We show to the committee all the videos that we made, and we do the main rehearsal on Friday night, and we come back the day after. So yeah, there's a lot of work in it, man, because in between the meetings we have a lot of stuff to do. We have like a big committee. We have Emily is involved, Yannick, and I'm sorry if I forget people, but Emily's involved, Yannick is involved, Gabrielle, Jessica is involved, JP. JP is a big part of that show for many, many years. We have as well Didier, who always put his grain of salt. So he's always there. He's I think he has a good confidence in our capacity. So we have some freedom to do whatever we want. So there's many people at the table. My responsibility is basically like the texts, so all the hosting stuff. But I'm not really involved in the pricing stuff. So the awards, there's some criterias to it. It's more the HRL employees involved that decides. That they have votes for each categories. We have the podiums we have awards ceremonies for personality of the year. We have ambassador. Sometimes we have another prize here and there. So I'm not personally involved in the choice of the awards winner. It's voted by members or designated by members. But I'm at the table and I'm able to follow what's going on. And I could put some ideas, a few ideas here and there, because I'm always a big fan of hydroplane racing, so I follow all the season. So my opinion is I can give my opinion regarding that, but my basic concern is to always put on a good show. That me and Steve have their it's good chemistry that we have since year one. Because it's funny stuff. Because I did host the gala for about 10 years now, probably. Started in 2016, something like that. And few years I did it by myself. I was alone on stage. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yep.
It was cool, but when Steve joined the team, immediately we felt that chemistry together, and it added a lot of good things to the show. So it was a great addition, and he's now my friend. And each year we try to, take notes and improve some stuff. But year after year, we improve some stuff. And after each event, we always come up with a few things to fix, new things to fix each year. It's a constant process. It's never perfect, but we are really proud of what we've done over the past 10 years. Yeah. And even before, when it was Sylvain, like a whole new it was another concept. It was more of a roasting show. It was more harsh. But yeah, it is a lot of hours, man. A lot of hours. I think the main issue with that kind of event is we have two separate. We have two audiences. We have French people. We have English people. We could have some improv a few times here and there, but we try not to do improv too much, because even though I'm able to translate what's going through my mind right now, it's a little odd when when you do an improv, you react immediately, and now you have to translate it. So it's kind of weird and odd sometimes. So that's why we have some space for improv, but we try to stick to our text to the best of our capabilities, just to make sure that everyone understands what's going on, and that not a few people would miss something.
Yeah,
it happens. It happens sometimes, but the whole, the gala as a whole, I think people, when the gala ends off, I think everybody understood like the most parts of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is a hard thing. Never even thought of that as a fan watching it, that some of those improv things can't be done. I know that was the most fun I had was when we did the lip sync battle. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then then they made that skit where me and Roshan were fighting because we fought, or didn't fist fight, but we had a tiff earlier in the season. It's like, you guys bring us all back together and make fun of this situation. It's fun. In the moment, sometimes I could see people might get upset, but it's you got to turn back and look at it. This is a hobby. We're all having fun.
Yeah, and we try a lot of things through the years, even though we changed like the formula when I arrived. We did some pre-recorded stuff, sketches. We did live sketches, live stunts. We did, obviously, we kept some special things like the media, the Daily World News. It's always there. We add a few parts of humor here and there. So yeah, that's a lot of work, man. And you don't want to miss a thing. It's always my fear to miss something, to that people don't feel entertained as much as they did. But for the most part, people were pretty pleased about it.
Yeah, I think year after year, it's the same. It's getting better or the same. Like, nobody ever goes, last year was better. I don't think I ever went there and had that feeling. I know others probably haven't as well. So it's really cool.
What's your most favorite memories of these galas, guys? You should have probably a couple of hints here and there.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The hard part is you always have so much fun that you end up forgetting a lot of the really cool things.
Yeah, I would say the lip sync battle was the most fun, even though I didn't really want to do it, but that was a lot of fun.
I've never been, so I can't comment. I've never been, but I'll make it. I'll make it one of these years.
You're missing something, man.
I'll make it one of these years.
It's hard for us to want to, like, I would like to go somewhere warm and do it. You guys should, like, let's do this in like Nashville, or do it down in New Orleans or something, somewhere warm. Florida. It's cold up there.
It's real cold.
I feel you, man. Totally agree. And I was speaking about the weather. And usually during the gala, it's always like minus 20, 22. Big thunder snow. It's
we always have it always seems like we're driving in the snow to or from, and it's like just sketch for 8 hours.
There you go.
But do you guys
downfall
in Delaware and Michigan, you guys have a lot of snow?
No, not at all. We've had
Michigan,
snow since November.
Michigan.
So
just like us.
Yeah, we get all the lake effect like you guys.
It's been raining nonstop. I mean, snowing nonstop. So
yeah, Bobby, we should have went live on Chasin Tails. Was that today? Yeah, it was today. He's just, we're talking on the phone and cars are just sliding, spinning, hitting the walls.
Yeah,
all around him. I felt like I was listening to a NASCAR event.
I was on the highway and I'm like talking to him on the phone, and I'm like, two cars just hit and spun, and then one's on this side, one's on this side, and then 2 minutes later I look over and then the car coming the other way starts spinning out, and I'm like, holy crap, I should have just kept my butt home. But no, we get we get just as much snow as you guys this year anyway. But I don't think it gets as cold. Like today was, well, I left my house, it was 1 degree Fahrenheit. Then it got up to like 9 degrees or something like that. But it's still pretty cold.
How much more? Yeah. So do you guys heard about our little sketch about you guys?
Yeah. I seen it in the drive. I was like, what is this? And then Kyle's like, I don't know. I missed it. I was back doing an interview.
You got it. You got it.
I don't have it ready. We were trying to AI something back for y'all.
Yeah, we got a rebuttal. Don't worry.
Really? That was fun. I think Sora was available for public in October, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were in the midst of putting the dots together for the Daily World News, and I had this idea to come up with to use AI to make news about that. The main point was to ask the artificial intelligence to create like the perfect podcast for hydroplane racing fans. So I used my imagination to describe like the Jaws the Jaws stuff that the poster that you have on the wall, your cap, and then Brandon's beard, and it came up pretty close.
It did. Cool. I was impressed,
man.
So we did a couple of things with that. We did this with Andrew as well. Create like the perfect, hydroplane racing hero or whatever. So we have a Drew take because so we have Drew take. We had the buoys. A lot of buoys were shattered this year, so we mixed that with the breathalyzer that was broken at times, I guess. So we mixed like the two of these news together. It made a perfect match. So
was broken. Yeah, records were broken on it.
Yeah. We also did some interviews with Eddie. By the way, Eddie Kenfouche made the introduction video this year.
Really cool.
Really cool. He did a great job. Really good guy. So we did some interviews with some French people. We did it with Alice Caron in novice class. We did it with Tommy Shannon. We did it with Martin Rochon. Always a good catch, Martin Rochon. Always something to come up with it. And we did it with Kyle, actually, and with Eddie. So we just, the basics of a good joke. We made like an interview for a podcast, and we took like some bits of answers, and we just mixed it with other stupid questions to, So that was so cool. We asked Kyle about, I think Kyle was talking about his first heat win. And he said that he almost had his dad to cry. And we just asked him why he was afraid of the grilled sandwich stand in Valleyfield. And that he came back empty-handed because he was too afraid to order something. I almost had my dad to cry. So it was so stupid.
So there was someone did that with some boat racing clips about 15 years ago. And they went around asking boat racers different questions, right? And then one question was, how do you get your prop off the boat if it's stuck? And someone was like, well, I just start beating it. And then it's another answer. It's like, and then like they show another question, and the question was answering, what do you do when you win a race? And then it goes to him answering about the prop, and he says, I just start beating it.
So simple but so effective. You can't. That's a good recipe.
For sure.
So we did that this year.
That's been my one argument, pretty much year in year out, is that I don't even care if it was a pay-per-view. Like, we should be able to watch it from home. I don't think you'll stop people from going. And I know putting it live on Facebook or YouTube would probably be bad, because if somebody gets drunk and takes 15 minutes for an outro speech, I mean that would probably screw up the live stream. But it's and all these things you guys work on, like, that may never be seen, like, they would go viral on social, and it's personality brought into our sport. Instead of just posting boat race clips and this stuff, like, you're seeing the personality of people or the jokes, and like that's the stuff people like us like to watch when we're doom scrolling, and it probably turn us on to the series.
Well, we will have our final debrief in a couple of days, I guess. So I'll bring that up to the table. Maybe ask Steven what he could do about that, and ask Yannick what they can do about
Even if
that.
they don't feel comfortable putting it on the HRL page, I mean, that's what we're here for. Like, we're not always prim and proper and stuff like that. So but we're trying to get the masses out, trying to educate people in the sport, have racing, have all these different avenues. And like, we're just that one big funnel is what we're trying to create here. Be more than just a podcast.
Beside going live, I know JP did that a couple of years ago. He did like kind of a little recap of the humor sketches and posted on the, was it on HRL or maybe Hydroplane Québec at that time? I don't remember, but he did a little recap of that. Maybe we could do it again, but we have to put people in context, because otherwise it would makes no sense. It would make no sense for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
JP
100%.
just said the main problem would be the rights to the music.
Yeah. Well, TikTok doesn't care. Just post it.
Well, I don't know exactly all the rules about that, but I think like when you don't go further than 15 seconds or something like that, you're good. You're good to go. Yeah. It's when you have like 1 minute, 3 minutes videos.
Yeah, especially the live stream side of it, I would think.
Yeah, because for example, Eddie used the Sheryl Crow song for the introduction, so it would probably be banned from YouTube and don't have any sound.
That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, and then it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, but that was good. He's really talented guy, and I have to say that Kyle and Eddie, because I watched the whole interviews, they're on the drive, so I watched the whole interviews of these guys, and they were so well spoken. They're brilliant. They're dynamic. That's
hold up.
No,
brilliant.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I thought he was pretty interesting to.
Man, he must have had something to drink.
I don't know.
I will say, whenever you do
Steve
get
made
Kyle
the interview,
talking,
so I don't know.
He can talk.
Yeah. Well, that's
cool. Yeah, and I saw him during the gala. He was kind of quiet. He was not. He was quiet.
Yeah.
Your dad as well was quiet.
Yeah, he's always quiet. So about 4, 8
Budweisers.
I knew it was. I was waiting for a rough night when he sent me a picture of how big them beers were up there.
Yeah, they had like the huge cans like that.
Wait, what was the food this year?
Veal. Veal with mashed potatoes and vegetables.
Do they not believe in just a good old steak up there?
Well, they did have a steak like a couple of years ago. It's always beef or chicken or veal because it's that's what people like the most.
So I do hear the most dangerous place in Valleyfield is the elevator in the hotel.
Yeah. Probably, man.
We did chat about that he said Roshan broke it the same way.
Oh, really?
Years ago. But he doesn't remember. We don't know why he doesn't remember.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And they were stuck, but they were stuck for a big 45 minutes. And I heard that Jimmy Stewart's mother wasn't there. So it was, she's like 80 plus years. And so she was stuck in between like two she was stuck in between the right spots. So I think they had a lot of work to do. So it was but nobody was hurt.
That's it.
I heard that some of the crew of Claude Tremblay and the Dog Nasty were there. Jimmy Stewart was there. A couple of people.
Yep. Dan Canfouche.
20-some people. 20-some people in an elevator. Probably not bad.
If Jimmy Stewart was there, it's probably like 20 people just on his crew.
Yeah. My dad said the elevator doors opened. He saw everyone. He's like, "No, I'll get the next one."
Yeah. I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. Few people just like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'll wait after. So yeah,
they should have went and played the lottery after that. Like, yep, made the
From,
right call
from now
there.
on, you're always going to see Jimmy Stewart ride in the elevator by himself. No one's going to want to get on with him.
but I don't know what he was thinking, but he just started to jump frantically up
Yeah.
and down, to kind of, I don't know, and
Everyone thinks it's funny to
He's
scare
really
people
testing
by
the
jumping up
limits.
and down an elevator, but there's always that chance.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So yeah, it happened. So cool. So yeah, really cool night. I wish you guys would have been there, but because Brandon, I remember that for a couple of years you were right in front of me, right in front of the stage. So it was cool to point you out. I could talk to you. And this year was Tyler Kadatz.
Oh, gosh,
he's
you
so an
talked
easy
and he
target.
never stopped talking back.
He's so an easy target, dude. Because we try to talk about everyone, to share stories about everyone, but we have a few people that we like to make fun of, that they're easy to make fun of.
Yep.
For example, Kent Henderson is really a guy is really easy to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, that this Brockville crew is always, all of them are pretty
that's for sure.
pretty easy to yeah. So yeah, big night, guys. Big night, guys. I hope I still have the energy, still have the willing to do it. So as long as I will have the energy and I will be willing to do it, I'm up there.
Awesome.
And I would like to be involved for sure.
What do you think for the award side of it? Was there a moment or an award that was given out that kind of was top the cake for you this year? Without being too biased.
Well, I would say that it's not a funny moment, but there were two genuine. My favorite moment was not funny at all. Was Raphael Daou.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Novice Rookie of the Year.
Pretty cool.
And obviously I knew Mathieu pretty well. And he came on stage by himself, alone. And he was standing right in front of me. And all of these guys, Novice class, they're pretty funny. They're always cool to interview, but they're kind of shy. And Raphael prepared like a whole message in his head. I lended him the mic, and he talked to the whole crowd, for like 1 minute or two by himself. No need to ask question from my side. Oh, it was pretty. I was pretty. It was
cool.
a really bright moment. I have a big thought about Mathieu at that time. He would be so proud of him. He was so solid, man.
That was meant to be there.
That's cool.
That was pretty impressive. So this moment was really, really something. Emily as well, when he presented the ambassador to Joe Abbott and the personality to Daniel Allaire, she was very emotional too. So we felt that genuine feeling of that real connection and that authenticity. So that was cool. But yeah, we have a Tinder sketch during the Daily World News, to the funny side. That was probably my favorite
Tinder
one, because everybody in the crowd laughed so hard. And I was pretty stoked about my use of Sora this year. That was a starting point for me. But I think there were great ideas. We did a recall of a sketch that we did last year with Mario Blains. We were pretending to retire his number, and we acted like we knew that he came back. So we just canceled the whole thing. So we did it again this year, but we wrapped it in a forecast, news. It was, I think it was pretty clever.
I think
that is good.
Be another one.
I think
next year.
Mario says that just to try to up his post likes to see how many he can get on Facebook. He's trying to get more followers by saying that, but he's got to try something else.
Yeah, but well, it's his third year,
Yeah, I think
something
third
like
year
that.
retiring.
So yeah, so we use him during the Daily World News with that. So we did like a basic forecast news. So today we
Yep.
announced 80% of a snowstorm possibility in McMasterville, but the third
All right.
comeback, and the shirt was, and we canceled it. I said, Didier, forget it, man. He's back again. And we ran
That's
the "O
awesome.
Canada" backwards. So it was
Nice.
pretty funny.
So
we did,
Steve Armstrong says he was on the elevator when Roshan jumped up and down to stop it. There were 11 people in
See?
there, and Jimbo was all worked up and mad.
Jeez.
Didn't lie, man. It happened.
Jimbo's
years
like
ago.
3 people himself.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't want to
Right.
get Jimbo mad.
No, he'll break you.
I spoke to him. After the gala. He was pretty. He was in a good vibe. So yeah, he was in a good vibe.
I bet he was.
So
That's my buddy, man. That's my buddy.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. The best look. Best looks. Always the best looks. He looks like a rocker, man.
Always.
Yeah, I remember him before. I remember
guitar.
him before all the tattoos and the big beard and everything.
Hey, he kind of looked like a baby back then.
Man, there's a
Am I
picture.
right?
Hold up. Do
Am
I
I
still
right?
have that
Yeah.
picture? Yeah, he did.
He looked so young when he was when he had no beard.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have one. Hold on.
It's scary how
You had it?
fast you found it.
I think. Well, I have a random photos thing, but I can't get it to pull up. Hold on. Technical difficulties, like we say.
Scared to see what
Not
else
enough
you have in the
space.
random
This
photos.
is a scary.
You don't have enough space through your computer.
Not
man.
enough space. Need a bigger server.
Mm-hmm.
Here we
The
go.
mask.
Here's old Jimbo back in the day.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's Miss Virgo days, Cambridge.
Wow.
Very different.
That was the fun days with no breathalyzer.
Yeah.
Actually, we might have been breathalyzed that year. That might have been the Worlds, the Triple Crown.
Yeah. In the same folder, I have one of Roshan too from Clarksville.
So that must have been 2000. That must have been 2000.
That.
That was 2007. It had to be.
Look at the clothing choice back then.
What's that? Is it a baseball tee?
No.
I think it's like that Affliction clothing type stuff.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm not sure.
The rocker stuff.
I recall having a lot.
We got to hear about the storm video and Emily denying the storm that she caused on Valley.
Yeah, that was a good idea as well. We thought about it, and I don't know. I think it's JP. JP came out with this idea. He said, "Well, I think Emily recorded the whole segment on IRDS like in 30 p.m. during Sunday afternoon in Valleyfield. So she probably wrapped it up and says that everything. She probably said that everything went perfectly." And we asked the footage. They gave it to us, and we saw that this was exactly what she said. So we kind of used that for a news regarding that there were no finals for a second year in a row at Valleyfield, except for Novice Class.
I think the Vintage got their finals in.
Yeah.
I had to. I couldn't hold back. Come on, it was right in front of me. I had to say it.
So outside of the gala, let's learn some more about you. Where did you get your start in hydroplane racing? What drew you to the sport? Obviously, you lived in Valleyfield, but tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I was raised in Valleyfield, so it's pretty obvious that this venue is probably my favorite because I have so much connection to it. So, but I'm a fan of hydroplane racing since I have memories. So I think I have some memories of the 1998 edition. It was the 50th edition. It was the World Triple Crown, something like that, when Howie Benz won the Grand Prix final. I remember I was going through the pits a lot during the weekend with my dad and sitting in the cockpit. I um, I remember there was a race in Saint-Timothée. So that's a little small city, like really close to Valleyfield. It's
Yep.
right beside Valleyfield. So I remember seeing your dad, Brandon, in 6 liters with the yellow boat,
Hot seat.
the hot seat. He was racing against Grayson Jones and the Heartbreaker and the Foxy Lady, all these boats. I remember that. Yeah, there were good records broke at in Saint-Timothée in Grand Prix class. I remember Bruno Brossois in the executive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like something like 122 miles per hour, but it wasn't a 1.25 mile. It was 1 2/3
Thirds.
mile.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember that, and my parents loved hydroplane racing as well. So we went to a lot of venues. We did a couple of venues. So
Mm-hmm.
and in 2017, I was involved. I was hired in at the Salaberry-de-Valleyfield. I was the partnership and uh, sponsorship director for a couple of years. Really enjoyed it, even though the pandemic hit and we had to cancel the 2020 edition. So my main focus was to secure some revenues that we already had for the next year, some partnerships. So I worked a lot on that until the fall of 2020. In Quebec in fall 2020, it wasn't looking good for 2021 already. We were kind of in the middle of it was really, really uncertain. I was hired something else. I accepted a job that was offered to me in the public service. But I really enjoyed my years at the Salaberry-de-Valleyfield. That's when that I got to know more people
Mm-hmm.
in the sport. You guys, for example, I was already hosting the gala, but for a short period of time. I think it was my second year when I was hired in
Mm-hmm.
Valleyfield. So yeah, so that core in 2016, 2017, I started to make friends among the sport, and since then, I couldn't even think of a sport that I love more than hydroplane racing. Uh, and I love every class. I miss the good old days sometimes. I remember as a kid, I loved so much the K racing runabouts. It was
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
cool to see these flat bottoms with a supercharged 500 cubic inch engine just roaring. They were louder than Grand Prix because of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
obviously there were no
Yeah.
cowlings. That was a trip, man, to see like Gordon Jennings in the
Yeah.
K69. I remember I saw as well. I remember having, because every time for an hydroplane fan like us in Valleyfield, when we see our first hydroplane leaving the pits, you know, especially big blocks,
Yep.
engines, we have the chills. We literally have
Yeah.
the chills everywhere. It's insane. It's in
Yeah.
our EDN, man.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA, man. It's just so yeah. I remember the record. All these good years. I remember I was a big fan of Jimmy King back then since he had the 151 boat. Bad in Performance, Orange Crush, name it,
Mm-hmm.
and the GP2 after. I was rooting for him because Jean Thierry with his big sponsorship was all over the
Yeah.
place. He would
Yeah.
win everything, and I love this. And I knew I knew that I didn't knew it back then, but I didn't knew back then that he had the Chrysler Hemi in his
Mm-hmm.
GP2. It was the only. I think Roger Mahan has. It
It
was
was
the
the only
only
one.
owner that has that. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I would love to see that engine back, but I think it's too expensive.
He still has
Yeah.
them.
Parts are limited. He's got them, but parts are limited, so it's kind of got kicked to the curb. But would be pretty cool to see.
Absolutely. I remember there was Jimmy had also, I think it was in the Silver Falcon in back in at the end of the 90s, he had a turbocharged
twin
engine.
turbos. Yep.
Yeah, that was
Wild.
cool.
Some of the stuff from back then, it was like no holds bar, and that's what we were talking with John Burton the other week, and just the flat bottom class, like K boats were unlimited, or still are unlimited. You can do whatever you want, and then the bad boats down that they're racing in Australia right now, some of those are like NASCAR engines, some are twin turbos. It's just a whole different animal. Pretty neat to see. It's a cool thing about our sport is there has been a lot of evolving and different engines and all that, but on one of your points, as I was listening to you talk about the history of the Regatta Valleyfield, we've kind of talked about this being a missing piece to the new age, is that it's HRL now. It's another HRL event where we don't get the West Coast 5 liters, 2.5 stock, stuff like that. I remember always growing up, I'd go to the races around here, Maryland, Jersey, all that stuff. You go to Valleyfield and you'd like run down from the camper and be like, who's here? Oh, Wally Johnson's here. This is cool. Like, no, haven't seen this boat all year. I feel like that's a missing link. What do you think?
Boy, that's a good question, man. That's a really good question. You know, I think it was a different, back then there was so much going on, so much teams, so much events that, Valleyfield could focus on itself pretty much. But nowadays, I know in Quebec as well, when you have an event like Valleyfield in 2025, or when they started HRL or HCHA, there weren't much going on, and they had to, I think they did that to justify why we would have a big event in Valleyfield. They had to be other events, sanctioned by the same league. So that's, I get it why they did that. But of course, as a fan, I would want like 100 boats in the pits.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think there could be a happy medium, whether it's we don't race for points and Valleyfield's just Valleyfield. It brings its own prestige, so it doesn't count towards the championship. And then we try to get like everyone, anyone and everyone come there. I know you're allowed, but I feel like it's not promoted the best. And now with the new rules of starting outside choice kind of stops anyone from wanting to come. But I get what they had to do for the series. So it's kind of like you can't do both, but is there a way someday? It's just, that's what I feel like is missing from back in the day.
But as a fan, because I'm speaking as a fan, because obviously I'm not, I'm not involved in these kind of decisions at HRL. I'm just, I'm hosting the gala. I'm volunteering for the gala, but yeah, I think when the Grand Prix class, not necessarily in North America on the East Coast, but especially in Quebec, when the Grand Prix class just fell off, it was non-existing for a couple of years. I think they did what they had to do to revive the Grand Prix class and to make sure that Valleyfield was relevant, and not just an event, that you can attend and don't have like the ability to go to other courses or other venues near to gather some points. So I get that like 10 or 15 years ago, it was maybe the thing to do. But I also agree that in 2026, maybe there's time for, to think outside of the box. And sometimes when you think outside of the box, it doesn't mean that you have to bring up just new ideas. You can like revive old ideas that could be effective in 2026 as well. You get what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So sure. I'm not totally, I feel you guys. Guys. Yeah.
So what, I guess back to the racing thing growing up, do you have a favorite memory that stands out watching as a kid or as a fan as you're in your adulthood that you're like, that's a cool moment?
Yeah. I have a few. I have one.
Me winning Valleyfield. I know that one was a big
one
for you.
Well, I was about to say that, man, because Bert Henderson and the Steeler team were so dominant back then between like the 2015 until 29. So it was cool to see the Coma unwin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love Bert Henderson. I think he's a great guy, great head, great driver. I love the Steeler, but I was always, as a fan, I love to root for kind of not for the underdog because you had the ability to win. You were not an underdog at that time, but it was cool to see someone else, win the Grand Prix. And back then, one of my most cool memories were, and I'm sorry for Mike Andrews, there was the final in Valleyfield, and I think it was in 1991. The Baden performance? No, it was not 1991 because that was Daniel Brossois' accident. It was 1990. Yeah, it was in 1990. The Beam of Hope was leading basically all the race, and he stopped, and Jimmy just won the final, and it was my favorite one. So I was obviously pretty happy about that, but that had to be such a bummer for Mike. So I'm sorry for him, but yeah, I remember I was really, 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 really stoked about that. When he won in 2019 as well, I was in the stands. I was in the grandstands with Jessica and the whole Matthews family, and that was a cool moment too to see Jimmy win his third final with the Steeler. I remember as well. Do you remember when you guys, Bobby, when you were a kid, you were in Valleyfield?
I was.
Yeah, the family. Do you remember when the Zeppelin? There was a Zeppelin, a Goodyear Zeppelin that.
The Goodyear blimp. We call it a blimp. Yep. It crashed.
Touchdown in the water.
Yeah, the Goodyear Zeppelin crashed. That was kind of a trip, man. That was weird.
That
was a good memory.
I remember going to Valleyfield when I was little, and I remember they used to do helicopter rides, and you could do that. And
true.
I remember when it was the old pits down near the yacht club, the marina. That was pretty cool. That was awesome. Just watching boats come out between the stands out to the race course.
Favorite spot as well.
It was really cool. Yeah. And then I remember that little there's a playground now, I believe, or was, but that little restaurant right there across the street from the pits, pretty much. Go there and get some food. I remember a lot of things there. Yeah.
The what?
He's talking about La Patate with the boats painted on it, I think.
La Pataterie.
Patisserie.
I remember when cigarettes in Valleyfield were under $20.
They're still under $20.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty freaking expensive last time I smoked there, but I don't smoke anymore. So.
Emily told me that in New Zealand, Ken Spack was like something like $45.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild.
Really wild. So yeah, the Pataterie, great poutine.
Yep.
Yes. Always got to hit that one.
Also, do you remember when?
And on the way.
Well, this is when I first started driving. When you got to Valleyfield and registration, they'd hand you a driver's bag, and they'd either in the driver's bag would be little shots, or you'd get a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, we upgraded to a case in the 2015 era. We get a case of beer, and then they'd be like, "Hey, come breathalyze in the morning." Like, this is like counterproductive here.
No, I had a lot of good times at Valleyfield. Yeah. Fun times racing, fun times partying, watching races. It used to be a fun time in the campground too, but I haven't been there in a while.
Because I know that's cliche, but the boats are so close to the shore, man. It's so cool. It's kind of a stadium, an internal stadium in the bay. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's no real replicating that. I mean, the GP final when you lead up to it with the song there, and it's just iconic. There's a lot of times in the boat where I'm sitting there, I'm singing as I'm rolling out because I remember being in those stands. Like, you don't forget where you came from.
But my
JP says the restaurant was called the Marina.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. But I know what you Brandon, you mean the Patatrie? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the one I know of. But yeah, Bob's talking back before my time, probably.
Yeah.
Old man.
The Marina restaurant made the best submarines that you could have.
Good
Wow.
food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. From my point of view, as a fan, when I go to Valleyfield, I'm always in the backstretch, right in front of the starting
Okay.
line, full
So
speed.
right there.
Yeah, I was there.
where
I was
Jack-
there.
Jack-
I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was there. Yeah, it was because you don't see often a Grand Prix blowover in the backstretch in Valleyfield. That's
Yeah.
not something that I saw many often.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't remember.
I don't
Besides
remember
Jack
ever
and
seeing one.
David Alexander's boat, probably maybe. I think the Thundercraft 2 may have.
I think he lost a rudder or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if he blew over. Ain't many blowovers in that class.
But when you go to the backstretch in Valleyfield, I know it depends on the wind, but your canard is way up there, way up there. It's in the middle like that, or you're basically
we usually have full downwing and
full
down the
downwing?
backstretch. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, to keep it on the water. It's something about the way the bay opens up. And then there's also some like crosswind from some of the houses that get broken up there that like it's one of the most hairy feelings, especially like time trials or a GP final there, that like you're going at such a rate of speed that first lap that you're just floating, and then you get lighter because you feel all this wind come through. So that's why you see so many blowovers out back there, is that people are either proactive or they're already dropping their wing into the corner. It's definitely one of the most intense parts of a race course we go to. And then you got to slam it into turn 2. So
yeah, turn 2.
It's cool.
The turn 2 looks pretty wild in the west.
Yeah, it's very, very tight, gets rough, and it takes different mindset rolling through there. That's for sure.
I heard that.
I always explain it to people who've never raced there, who are going to race there for the first time. And I tell them turn two at Valleyfield is the only turn I dirt track it at. You go, you set left, you get the boat turning, and then you start turning right so you don't spin out. I did that with almost every boat I drove there. I always halfway through the turn, I'd be turning right to try to bring it back to make it straight so it didn't spin out.
Really?
Yep, the only turn I ever had to do that with. Unless I was.
So you have to turn the steering wheel.
There's
you're pretty much counteracting the spin, because you see a lot of boats spin there. So you're pre-doing it like a drift car instead of like letting the boat rotate.
Yeah.
You kind of you're already in your mindset to straighten it back out.
Even in Grand Prix class, you have to do that.
More just point and hope.
In
Grand Prix, you can go through there pretty good, but it's really tough because you slow down so much momentum, especially when especially a final, and the waves are so big. It is really hard to get the boat to straighten up off of that corner. That's why, I mean, I'm so glad Jonathan started calling bearing out this year, but like that's why everybody bears out, is just because, hey, we're gonna keep the momentum up. I know that heat I had with Bert where we almost finished in a dead heat, I was like, I know Bob Abbott was going to call me if I slid out. So it made a really good race out of it to me to stay in lane 1. And I never shy away from that. Like, I like a challenging course. I'm not a big fan of big courses and where you're just out there riding around. So that course has challenges everywhere.
But that could be pretty wild for the body. I heard about what you've said. I think it was like 2 episodes ago, like Andrew or Tommy Thompson or Kent in the wild one don't have pads here.
Yep.
And they knock their head over the canopy.
Yeah, we went, when my dad was driving GP, we went to a full containment scene out of a NASCAR from LaJoy seating, and that's been the best decision we ever made, because I have full head support, I have shoulder support, I don't move at all. But yeah, that boat didn't have it. And I know Kent lost Detroit to me one year because we were side by side and went into turn 2 and he hit a roller real bad and he was gone. I never saw him, but yeah, he hit his head and then was seeing stars. And So,
Really?
it's one of them
At
deals,
this point,
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's safety is the main thing, but comfort also adds lap time. And I've always felt that, whether it's race cars or race boats, like if you're comfortable in the cockpit, you can drive faster. You're gonna put it more on the edge. So that's what we focused on.
Well, you guys have balls, I can tell you. Takes big balls for Grand Prix class, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different mindset, especially up there.
Do you remember when you first jumped in a GP, what it felt like?
Yeah, it was like just nothing I could ever imagine. The acceleration when you put your foot to the floor, out throw you back in the boat, and the turning, and then the biggest thing was just learning that the boat could go through what I was seeing out the windshield. Like, those rollers are scary, but the boat will go through it. Where 2.5 that I was driving prior to, it just flipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah, it's a feeling I'll never forget, and that's why I love GP. It's just enjoyable.
And you, Bobby?
Me?
What was the first time?
First time was actually, I think it was during COVID. Me and Brandon went out and tested, and I think the first thing I thought of is like, man, this thing has a lot of vibration. There was a lot of vibration, but no, it was pretty cool. It was really windy. I didn't really get to put my foot into it too much. I think I did it for one lap, but it was pretty rough, but it was pretty cool. But in a race, what was my first race? Cambridge? That was
in the 135?
Yeah, the 135.
The old
I think
135.
it was Cambridge.
Yeah,
it was cool.
You were good in that boat.
I like that boat. I think that boat has a lot of potential. I think it just needs a couple more changes, and I think it can still be pretty fast. Huey gets it wrong though. He says that boat's super fast down the straightaway and not fast to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. Things fast to the corner, but just couldn't keep it on the water in the straightaway. So, but I think just a couple changes and that boat would be pretty quick. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was fun to drive. 35 was fun to drive too. There are different animals. There is a point to where you need enough balls to go with your driving skills to drive GP.
Mm-hmm.
And then
seat time. I think seat time's critical.
Yeah, and lower classes, it takes, I wouldn't say it takes more skill than GP. I'm saying it takes less balls in the lower classes, but with a lot of skill to win. And with GP, finesse. You just need to have everything to be able to go after it and get it. It's different. But I think the only thing to say is if you want to be a good GP driver, you got to first set up your boat, because if you don't have a good boat, you're not going to be able to do anything. And then once you set that up, you got to learn the speed, but you also have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to know what's going, what you're going to go into when you hit that first turn, because you could either overturn, you'd slide out, and when at that speed, when you have so many boats around you, stuff happens real fast. So it's different. You got to take it, and I would say take it baby steps in GP. People expect drivers to get in a boat and to immediately go out there and win. But some people, it might take them a few races, it might take them a year or 2 years. It's just that speed and that horsepower, it's different than any other class.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys were talking about sliding over a turn, is it because sometimes the driver will turn the steering wheel and the skid fin will, get its grip too late in the turn within the apex, or is it because of that?
There's definitely a part of that, but some of it's just more the courses we run on, the roughness. Like, you do have a little bit of, you got to give yourself a little bit of leeway that the boat's not going to be perfect in that corner. And then there's also setup to it that some boats turn better than others. That's been pretty much our focus since our Como boat is just making that boat turn well, having that confidence to drive it in there and know it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Pretty much where 90% of our focus goes.
A lot of teams
keeping the skid.
A lot of teams focus on end of the straightaway speed. I mean, if you focus on your boat cornering, your end of your straightaway speed is going to be there, because if you go through a corner faster, come out of a corner faster, obviously you're going to be going at the end faster at the end of that straightaway. I mean, it's all about turns, because if you time like GPs on, I don't know about Valleyfield, but other courses, if you time how long it takes a GP in a straightaway and how long it takes them to get through a turn, it's almost equal. So if you just got to, so if you're focusing on just a straightaway, you're not going to be fast because you're in the corner half of the race. So, I mean, it might look like a short distance around that turn, but the time going through that turn equals just the amount of time in straightaway. So it's all about, you got to be well balanced. I mean, you can't just be fast through a corner and then not have any straightaway speed, but then it's all relative and it all comes around full circle if you have that turning speed.
Yep.
I remember that your old 25 was pretty. You talked about the Como and Wind. I think it was that boat.
Yeah,
that boat was amazing.
Yeah, it was
turns,
real good
man.
to turn.
Wow.
Yeah, we learned a lot with that boat, and just kind of every boat we've had, we just keep trying to advance and take things from each boat and put them on the new boats. And yeah, that boat kind of woke me up to what a Grand Prix could be. Definitely was a lot of fun to drive.
And I know
scared
that
me a lot of times, but
yeah, the escape hatch.
Yep.
In Unlimited, it was Unlimited. It was the steering broke, and it was in the 35
on the GP in Tonawanda. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Same that happened to Scott Cropfield in Valleyfield.
Yep.
Scott had that same experience.
Yeah. He was a little more dramatic than me. I always give him hell for that. He's like, dude, I was black and blue for a month. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe yours was a little worse. That's fine.
But would you say that, because I know that, if you look at the results of the 25 when you had the Jones, I think it was the Jones.
Yeah.
The results were not as good as what you had in the old 25, but did you enjoy that haul, or in some ways?
Yeah, some ways. The boat drove totally different. It was a lot easier to drive. It was fun to drive at times. Never really had that Henderson walk where it would get light. The steering was a lot easier, but I don't know. That boat had it out for me. I think it tried to kill me in like 5 ways. So it was time to be done with that one. Yeah.
No, that was
the
14. He's talking about the green Jones.
The green one.
Yeah, the green Jones. Yeah, the 25. Yeah, that they purchased.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, the boat drove nice, but I don't know. We just always had something going on with it that it would spin out different, like be fine one lap, next lap it's like I did the same exact thing and it would hook. So yeah, getting out of that one, I was kind of.
That's not good when it's unpredictable like that, huh?
Yeah, that's how my accident in Detroit was. I got in Bert's tail, got me a little bit, and all of a sudden the boat just took off to the left, and Rashawn went over top, and just thankful that we did everything to make that boat safe with the roll cage and everything in it. That I'm still here to talk about it, but about that time was about time to let it float down the Detroit River.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good memories in Valleyfield.
For sure.
Of all of you guys, but and one point that I didn't mention is that I have a great connection with Valleyfield and a great bonding with Valleyfield event, because I worked for them. I was a fan since like the 80s, but I also performed on stage for the musical events for a couple of times. Like I did like 5 or 6 events with my live band. So that was a trip, man. That was cool too. It's always fun because you have like 10,000 people when the weather is on your side. So pretty good memories as well. Watching the races during the day. And at the end of the day, just going through the park for my sound check and keep it going for like a couple hours. see the other bands perform, a lot of adrenaline. That's a cool day for me. One of my best memories at the Regatta was that. And the day after, I'm walking through the pits and I'm getting recognized by people. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
We did have a request earlier. I don't know if Godbipe's still in the chat, but he wants you to come to Madison. Maybe you guys could talk about MCing for their concerts, giving a little more boost to it. Because the guy last year was like, and here go who played last year?
Dustin Lynch.
I can't think of it off the top of my head. Dustin Lynch. He's like, all right, and next up is Dustin Lynch. Here he comes. I was like, that is not how you build up an artist of this mecca coming out.
Oh, I have a car and I have a passport, man. So I can go.
I'll get him in contact with you. Need a little
Sure,
more
man.
excitement
Sure
there.
thing.
You would
never
get to witness something that Valleyfield doesn't do. You know, I know Valleyfield is great. I'm not knocking Valleyfield, but the coolest thing I say about Madison is the parade. You go jump on a boat, go through the parade on a boat. It's pretty cool. It is awesome.
Yeah, I heard about that. Never been to Madison, but a few people told me that it was a great place to go to see.
That was hilarious. My first year going through there on the GP, I'm up on the GP and we're throwing out candy to the kids and stuff. And then all I hear is, "Can I have your autograph?" And I look over and it's Jimmy Shane in the crowd.
Yeah. Just like, woo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. You guys, Brandon and Bobby, did you already made a heat together against each other, or you were always in the same team? Or
the 135, we raced 2.5 stocks against each other, 350s against each other. T-boats.
The GP we did.
T-boats. That might be my
skiffs. We went together.
We did ride and skiff together.
In a skiff.
Yep. That was bad.
I drove. I didn't crash that one. It was good.
Yeah, another thing that happened to you, Brandon. The weird thing that happened when you sank.
Oh, when he stopped the 14.
Wow.
I mean, I'm like a cat. I just keep landing on my feet.
You know, I like this episode. We're talking about all of Brandon's mess ups.
Exactly.
Hey, we could talk about Bob blowing it over in Valleyfield. That's a Valleyfield moment for Bob.
That was 2000.
Still got pictures.
2005. I blew it over on the front stretch.
2.5
stock.
2.5 stock, yeah. With a shameless?
That was the shameless. 25? Yeah, that's 25. Yep. Yeah, that was that sucked.
What happened?
I told my grandfather, I came in, I'm like, the boat's just floating perfect. He's like, don't let it do that. I go out the next heat, fucking blow it over. And then so we Bert had a 4 sailboat at the time. He was Jimmy Shane was running a boat that was for sale for Bert. Actually, Kelly Shane was, I think. And
are you sure it was Kelly or was it his wife?
No, it was Kelly.
Oh, the story.
And then so after that day, we went to Bert. We made a deal to buy the boat. So we got the boat after Valleyfield. We went to Brockville for something. We switched everything over. And then we went to Waterford the next weekend and I blew the sponson off of it.
So then we switched back to the
and then Bert got my old boat fixed because it was pretty bad. And he's like, it should be faster because he's like, it was all messed up. So he fixed it. And then I went and won the Nationals, the Worlds with it, a whole bunch of stuff that the rest of the season with it. It was a pretty good boat. It's still floating around HRL somewhere. I don't know who has it.
Break it, fix it, work it, race it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I lost track of it.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Me too.
But no, actually,
I don't know.
It was Charrette's boat at one point.
I thought that was your newer. That's the newer.
That's the one. That's right. That's the one I blew the sponson
Dobis
on.
has the
flamed one, which is now Orcutt's in Indiana. And then the one I blew the sponson off of, Charette had, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't know who has that now.
Now Himboldt has
it. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
It's hard to
It's
keep
hard
track.
to keep up with these boats.
Especially up in HRLs. The boats switch hands so many times through people.
Yeah.
And
paint schemes, like different paint schemes every year. It's hard to keep track.
Few people didn't lost track of any of these boats, like a guy like Marc Perrier or Ben Lemay.
Yeah.
They know everything about the timelines of these boats.
Eddie Canfouche does too.
Crazy.
Eddie Canfouche as well. Yeah.
He just hit the comments to make sure
Yeah.
we were right,
Yep.
Bob. Ding ding ding. We nailed it.
Eddie's still
JP Poulain is really good at it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. JP is good at that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Well, boys, I think we're about done. I think with this interview.
Yeah.
You guys got any other closing thoughts before we let Dominic go?
It was nice chatting with you. It's seen you watched little videos here and there of the years of you hosting the gala. So it's pretty cool to have you on, and thank you.
It was my pleasure, guys. You know, I'm a big fan of the show since I think I watched like the first episode.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm a fan since the beginning. So it was an honor and a privilege to be with you guys tonight. Even though obviously English is not my first language, I think
you're pretty good at it.
Did a good job.
You killed it.
I'm not so bad.
No.
One day we'll learn French.
Nah, not a chance. It's too long now. I used to know it back in the day.
At night?
No. At night. I knew me some French back then.
Oh, yeah.
More like kissing.
Yeah. At l'enjeu. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Aha!
I remember when I won in this is the last one, and then we'll let you go. But when I won in the T-boat, I think it was my first time. I was 15 or 16. And at that point, the BO, the bar back there, sponsored me. And I'm up there like all excited. I'm like, yeah, thanks to BO for the best time of my life last night. And now looking back, I'm like, I was 15. Like, I don't think I should have been saying that.
Well, yeah, but I went to the Brasserie Olympique at 15 years old as well. So
yep, there you go.
You're good. Yep.
It's just a natural thing.
And it's still there. It has another name, another owner, but he's really cool. It's Simon Langevin.
Okay.
It's Osim Pub.
Yep. And still involved in boat racing. That's cool. I see they sponsor a couple people.
That's cool.
Yeah. So wishing you a good evening, guys, and
yep.
Hope to talk to you
for
soon.
Coming on.
Of course.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Good interview. Good interview.
Yeah, that was great. It's cool to hear like all the things that go into that gala and all that stuff, and just the history. It's always nice to have someone else's perspective. Austin, you said you did that before the episode. Now
I'm still sick, dog. It's getting old.
Speaking of history, I think he knows more history about boat racing than I do.
Yeah,
100%. He was throwing off the dates and this boat and that boat. I'm like, man, I don't know if I watch that VHS yet. I'll pull it out.
Literally.
Oh yeah, Gilman in the comments talk about Club La Saint. Woohoo, that was good times, Bob. I'll find that video of you, bud. I'll put that thing on the internet. And that taxi cab, open his door. My mom's got the same minivan. And Billy just talking his English.
I remember he's like, I'm not pulling over. And I'm like, well, I'm going to puke in here.
Yeah.
Man.
And then Nick Roos passed us
next
morning. He's like, y'all have a good ride home? Yeah, we did. It's a great ride home.
Man, I don't usually throw up, but when I didn't even know, and all those people at Club La Saint, people kept handing me beers and shots, and I'm like triple fisting, and I'm like,
and they were.
I don't even know who these people are, and they're just handing me beers, and I'm like, this is cool, but I can't drink all this. I tried,
but you did. We all did. I think that place had like 20 JPR stickers throughout that.
Man, I remember the next day, Uncle George was like, he was driving the GP. It was a 25.
It had to be the yellow.
No, it wasn't the yellow one. It was the
Was it some
Sabades.
80s?
The Henderson though, and I was so hungover, and we woke up in the morning. He's like, "Hey, change that rudder." He'd get back in. Hey, change his rudder again. Hey, change this. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, I just can't function right now.
Yeah, Gilm said he set us up. He told them who we were. I remember I was up in a DJ booth. Probably Dom up there back then. I don't know.
Man, all I know is I was dancing with people I shouldn't have been dancing with, and it was a crazy night. We blew a tire going there.
You know, that is the yeah. Jamie smashed that. Hey, we didn't blow the tire. Jamie smashed the curb. Like, hit that curb. And we all jump out like NASCAR pit stop. We're jacking the car up, spun it, threw the tire on. All right, let's go. And he's like, we're in the parking lot. We're like, then why'd we change the tire?
I had no clue where we were going.
We ain't going home with you anyway.
I had no clue where we were going. But nope, that was a good night. That was fun.
Yeah, you can't beat those times.
You're trying to find the video, aren't you? I hear you clicking.
I am. Yeah, I searched. I got my hard drives connected, and I just searched Bobby drunk. It's gotta come up. I know that's what I.
It's gotta.
You'd have to look. You'd have to like search for Hornwall or something.
Yeah.
That's where Club It.
I don't think that I don't think this hard drive I have hooked up to my computer is the old enough one, but if it's PG, I can't remember what's on that. We might have to just post that clip. That was so Billy talking about I kissed somebody. And I remember I zoomed in on you too.
When I was puking?
That was good. Yeah. Solid.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, Max and Jamie were crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's it.
The Clubless Saints not there anymore.
No, it went away. Went away, came back, and it's gone again.
All the fun.
Yeah, now it's just all the fun spots went. Now it's just
like you don't even have strip club anymore.
Right. Yeah, we forgot about that story when Jimmy Shane was on. Oh no, we did bring it up. We did bring that up as RC controls.
So
this is what else we want to hit on. Do we want to get into anything or just leave next week's topic on tech things?
Just tech things next week. They raced the Duff Daily. American boys had a rough time down in Australia. Rough time.
See, that's what I say about Jack's boat driving. Like, he's winning down there. It's because the water circulates a different way. It just doesn't work.
You see Jack's boat's up for sale, and it says you can only buy it if you stays in Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah,
New Zealand.
But yeah, Duff rolled it. Duff rolled it. Ty rolled it. And I just don't think they could get it going after they rolled it, especially because their boats are set up with that back. The spoiler, and then they both lost the spoilers after the rolls, and the handling just wasn't there.
The blue one was rolling the one heat, and then all of a sudden just kind of spun
All
out.
I gotta say is
those K boats ain't made for tight turns.
All I gotta say is those Aussies stepped it up times 10 since last time.
Yeah,
last time they had nothing for Duff. Duff could have rolled it 10 times and still beat them. But those boys down there, they did their homework, and those boys are hauling ass.
Yeah. What I see on the one GoPro, like 220 kilometers. What's that in mile per hour? 6. On that short straightaway, like they are getting and going from like a dead stop pretty much. Freaking booking.
Yeah. I mean,
that's awesome.
I don't know. It's got to be different, but it's pretty cool. Now I want to know, is it harder to set up one of those deep feed displacement boats, or is it harder to set up a K boat flat bottom?
I don't know. I saw like people, I was watching the comments, I was comment farming, and man, there's some haters on there, but that's just boat racing. We always have haters, but like they said, like they think they're getting too fast now. They're starting to get a little erratic. Like that one dude that he took off to the right and almost ditched it.
Really?
Yeah. And like everyone's holding their boats right there, and it got out of shape and it took off to the right. Yeah, that was sent in the group text. Will you start reading your damn messages? Like Kyle said, it was the coolest thing.
I know. I mean,
scariest thing he's ever seen. Something like that.
When I'm trying to work and you guys chat all day, I can't read everything.
I'm also very disappointed.
River. You guys used to send like 60 to 80 text messages in a day.
See, I know now I start working out early in the morning, so I'm like, I'm gonna just text because I know Austin's up. At least he'll talk to me.
Especially in the morning, it's good. I get people going, so I got a few minutes to talk usually.
There you go. I was kind of disappointed Kyle didn't come on here because I was going to ask him if either him or I were on the best starts of the year. I'm gonna guess not.
Yeah.
Best start of the year was Sydney, though. Jimbo's
cool.
kid. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I wonder if Jimbo's going to move him up. Like, if he's another one. We heard Mark talk on this podcast about that. His kid's got to
step it up a little bit.
I think Jimbo, he just needs to get his kid a boat.
I think so.
2.5.
I think so. But
we'll surface that clip that we just had. There's other ones until if he gets a son a boat, we won't surface it.
Oh man. But so did Jack locked it up down in New Zealand? Or they
still got a couple of races to go, I think. Yeah.
They didn't get to run their last final due to weather.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they got I think a couple more. Yeah, they got one in February and then one February, March. Their season is like spread out. That's nice. Instead of being back to back to back to back.
If
I saw Mario Blaine was punching Ken, man. When he was doing his interview. He kept trying to knock him over. Poor Ken.
So I wonder if Jack has his new boat finished from when it came off the trailer at the beginning of the season. If back together, if he is putting his boat for sale right now. Because I mean,
I know they always are trying to build a class over there. That's why they built the brand new ones, brought him over. But yeah, he's got to have a boat. If he's sitting in high points and somebody would want to buy it. I didn't see any stipulations where it has to be bought at the end of the season.
No, I didn't see that. All right. So speaking of building boats, I heard that Bert has taken some orders for GPs. Is that public news?
Yeah, I think it is. Who knows? It's public now. Yeah, I think he's got 2 orders.
One for Mercier?
Yeah, I think so. And then one, I think Huey's talking about getting another one too. He gonna need one after running Sorrel. But
so that's cool. That's cool. Man, Huey and him getting flat after Ed Thompson. What a post.
I think I was a little pushing it to the limits there. I mean, we talk a lot of shit on here, but I don't think we've ever.
I mean, I know what Huey's doing. He's trying to do some like reverse psychology and push Ed to come race East. I'm like, Ed's gonna race where he wants to race. I don't think he doesn't care what you say.
Yeah.
But
all it does is create like the unnecessary back and forth. Because then I read on there that like, oh, them boys, y'all are scared to race.
Jesus Christ!
No, I just don't care to.
And then it's like about who's best, who's fastest, and it's like everyone has a preference. I'm like, we push the smaller, tighter courses because we think it's more challenging. We think it's more competitiveness.
Smell better
for the fans. But those guys out west, they like their big courses. They like to air those boats out and get them going. So.
And there's a little bit difference of like the courses you're racing on. Like San Diego has a big long shoreline of people that are spread out already because of the unlimited. So like if you're only racing kind of like Madison, when we only race a mile and a quarter, there's still a lot of fans up towards that bridge that don't really see us. But at the end of the day, if you put something in that center that like while they're there watching the Grand Prix, they buy a beer, buy a t-shirt, buy all that. Like it could work. You just got to change things up a bit.
But I don't know. I mean, we go off the rails a little bit about, the 1 mile and heating on a mile 2/3, but I don't think we ever slammed anyone like Huey does. That's rough.
No,
that is rough.
That was very crazy.
I mean,
I'm just waiting for his post. Like when Dom said they just try to, what did he say? Something about Mario retiring like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, that's kind of like Huey making a post every year. Hey, we got 50 more horsepower. They got to be up to 2,000 by now. We got our Valleyfield motor, 50 more horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like Ed's going to run where he wants to run. I don't think I've known Ed for a long time, and you're not going to influence him and change his mind.
Yeah.
You know.
And at the end of the day, I think that's where our sport's different. We're not dirt track racing where we're making money. We're still, like Brody says the best, it's still a hobby for him. He still works his job. He's just buying out GP50 or whatever he's doing. Like, he wants to just run the East Coast races. He has no desire to go out West because it's just a hobby for him. And I think that's, again, it just becomes the sustainability. That's what we've got on the East Coast is we've had 10 boats usually. Now we've kind of dwindled a little bit, but I feel like in the next couple of years, we're going to be back. Out West, I've heard, and hopefully a press release coming out soon that someone bought a boat out there. So there's another GP coming out. So as long as you get sustainability on both coasts, the racing's going to be great. And then if people intermingle, even better.
Yeah, it's a bonus. It's a bonus, but I don't think you should be, how should I say it, trying to force someone to either race on either coast.
No.
Just let them do their thing.
They're going to come for
Let them do their thing.
They're going to come for the love of the sport.
Exactly. But yeah, so, you know, big things happening with GP out West, and then big, some, you know, new boats coming in to HRL East Coast. So it'll be good. You know, there's enough boats in APBA. We can spread boats out. I mean,
yep.
I mean,
they just need to come out.
They just need to come out. I mean, you know, another big thing, you know, like look at APBA, you know, it's all spread out, and we say we have too many races, but it is kind of cool that we have so many races. You can go racing pretty much wherever you want from spring to fall, whenever you want. Just say, hey, let's see if there's a race this weekend and go. So it's pretty cool. You know, we have Pontiac Lake coming back. That's huge because that was a favorite race for a lot of racers. You ask a lot of people around here, walk up and ask anyone if they heard about the race back in the day here, and they know it. That drew a huge crowd. So that's pretty cool. And then we got that new race going on in Ohio this I think it's in June.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Might be June.
No, that one's in
August.
Same weekend as
Okay. So you got that race coming. I believe Mark Weber's behind that one. So that'll be pretty cool. You got Salina back. You got Edgewood stepping it up. They're going to change some things this year from what you were saying.
Yep. A lot of big things happening there.
So,
that'll be fun.
Yep. Got the Easterns.
Yep.
Yeah. Where they at?
Salina.
Okay, cool. Nice.
So yeah, you got a
big crowd.
That's it. That's what I've sent out our little thing from 25/7 Creative about running people's socials. But if we could get race sites to buy into this and make the race site social as good as Chasin Tails, HRLs, the sport just continues to grow, and it's going to grow in that area because now they're seeing a lot more content in their area. We have so much footage and so much ability to share content and talk about different vendors and stuff like that. That's I feel like my real push this year is trying to get these race sites on board to try to build a brand out of the race site, not just a race put on for racers by racers. Like, there's brand marketing value to each race.
Yeah, I think it's past the day of just posters and putting a poster up and on doors and trying to putting a boat out at a car show. You know, social media is the way to advertise these days, and then try to get the word out there. That's why we do the podcast. I mean, we don't do the podcast because we're bored. We're doing it because we want to help the sport. We want to help APBA, HRL, GP West, GP East, doesn't matter.
H1.
We don't
H1,
even
yeah.
care if you race outboards. We'll talk about outboards if you want us to. I mean, it's
Yep.
boat racing. We want all of boat racing to survive and try to get bigger and better. And also, one of the main reasons I do this is because you know how many old bald-headed people, overweight, are working on their boats right now in the middle of winter with nothing to watch or listen to about boat racing. So
Exactly.
they all
Yep.
get to sit here and listen to us bullshit for a couple hours, once a week, and keep their
whether it's live or after,
keep their focus on working on their boat to try to get out next season.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this at this point and doing what Bob said, you probably lost that 10mm socket.
Yes, you did.
Good luck finding it.
So yeah.
Well, boys.
Oh, go ahead.
I think
wrap
it up.
Yeah.
Do you wrap it up? Okay, so we got that guest next week, right?
Yeah. We got
all right, we got Brady Brackett
Rob
coming
Brackett
on next week. They got a Rob.
Maybe
Brackett,
Brady will be on there. I don't
got
know.
it wrong. Yeah, whatever. They got a new T-boat motor they're working on, did some development work on it. Want to hear some things about it leading into that elusive IRC meeting coming up in a couple weeks. So obviously anything you can bring into the T-boat class, if it helps support the class and get the class growing like they've done, is a good thing. But we'll learn more about it before we give all our opinions on it, because we're definitely going to be opinionated. It might turn into the Honda with like a week and a half left, and I'll be on the dang FaceTime up in the IRC meeting like, look at me, I'm here.
Shit, I forgot to mute.
Hey, if we got to push this engine hard, we'll just go live every night.
Yep, live every night. We're doing a whole week live every night.
Jeffrey Conan said, FYI, Duff is currently third place in points for the U.S. New Zealand versus Aussie Challenge, 6 points behind the leader. So I guess they're staying down there and racing more?
Yeah. Yeah, they go to another track that's a little bit wider, so it's more K-boat friendly. It's not a drag strip. So
they better watch out. I really hope that they fabricate a spoiler between the races so Duff can get that handling back in.
Them boys are working hard.
Yeah, did you I mean, both of the US boats are, I'm sure most of them are over there too, are immaculate, but did you see Ty Newton's, like, the video of it inside and pictures? That thing is like, it should go in a freaking museum. It is freaking pristine.
It's crazy.
Like,
I don't know why us hydro guys can't do it that way.
Weird.
A boat or something. Like,
we're too sloppy, and we're just I don't know. Well, plus, they don't have a cowling that takes oil and just sloshes it around and blows it around.
Yeah.
They're open, so if they have oil that blows out, it just goes out. But
yeah,
they roll enough that it just gives it a quick clean.
Cleans.
Yeah,
it's like
those. I don't know. They're awesome looking. They're beautiful. Just tons of work.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. We'll watch it this weekend. See what happens. They've been doing some real good content down there, keeping everybody engaged. I forget what the page is, but maybe we'll think about it. Drop the link. I know they had a pay-per-view going on for the race. Good live stream. So we'll drop that link. But I think it's closing time, boys.
Closing time. Usually have to kick me out at this point. It's closing time.
Yeah. Did you want me to keep talking for 15 minutes when you want me to leave the stage?
Hey, cut the music. Cut the music.
cut the music. Anyway, so that was episode 75, Chasin Tails. Great conversation with Dominic Roy about everything that goes on in the HRL Gala and his history in the sport of hydroplane racing, growing up in Valleyfield. We appreciate you hanging with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. More content coming soon. Peace.